These are some of the ancillaries you will need for your LPG gun to work. You have an oxygen line with regulator, which is coloured blue, a propane line, which is coloured orange, a propane gas cylinder, which you can get from B&Q's and other good plumbing shops, a 12-volt battery, and an oxygen cylinder. You will also notice this, which is a check gauge. This is how you can check the pressures that your gases are running at, as you will find with experience what are the best pressures of oxygen and propane for your particular gun. I highly recommend you get the correct battery charger for the batteries that I use. These are available from Maplin's. The order code for these battery chargers is LL30H. It is for the 12-volt sealed lead acid batteries. It cannot overcharge the battery, as it will turn itself off once the battery has received full charge. If for any reason you have a battery failure, again get from Maplin's a small 12-volt battery, which is coded MM22. This is one of the smallest batteries that they do. I recommend you use a butane-propane mix of gases, similar to this one, that survives with the gun. The use of other types of gases which may work at a higher temperature could in fact cause the gun to fail or not fire. Different gas mixes fire at different pressures. As you can see, at the end of the gas lines is a quick detach fitting. This makes it easy for you to put onto the gun, remove from the gun, and also check the gas pressures. To check the gas pressures, you push the gauge into the quick release fitting and read off from the scale. To remove it, you simply pull back the collar and it will remove itself and seal the gas line. When handling oxygen especially, do not have any oil or grease on your hands, as if this gets into the thread of the oxygen bottle and you then try and connect it, the bottle might explode. Not something you want to happen. The first thing you need to do when setting up the gun is connect the battery. This may actually be contained, as on this gun, in a magazine, or at the end of an extended line in your musette bag, or however you wish to carry your oxygen, propane and battery around. You must always ensure that the battery is in a full state of charge, as a battery that is losing charge will fire the gun erratically, if at all. Connect the battery. Red line goes to the positive, black line goes to the negative. When you are not using the gun, always disconnect the battery, as if you do not, the battery will eventually go flat, and there's nothing as annoying as being on the top of a Welsh mountain with a flat battery. Next, you check that the electrics are actually functioning. To do this, do not connect the gas lines, but positive and negative, and then pull trigger. You should then hear a clicking sound. This is the solenoid valves opening and closing and the spark plug. If you hear those sounds, at least you know that your electrics are working properly. On an LPG gun, you will have two gas ports. One of them will be a coloured orange. This is the propane gas port. If you connect them incorrectly, the gun may not fire or fire erratically. Here is one of the quick fit fittings that I showed you earlier when demonstrating how to use the gas gauge. To put them on the gun, you simply push the female into the male. Before you connect these gas lines up, connect the oxygen and propane to their respective gas lines and check the pressures to ensure that they are roughly at the right pressure from previous experience. Once you've connected up the gas lines, see if the gun will fire. You may occasionally have to adjust the gas pressure slightly. This may be by adjusting the oxygen or the propane. Decide which is the easiest for you to adjust and leave the other one set at a setting. If you play with both of them, you could waste a lot of time. That goose call sound is usually indicative that the gun is cold or there is not sufficient oxygen or too much propane getting through to the gun. Make very, very slight adjustments. Too much and the gun will fail to fire. Once you have got the pressures adjusted and the gun is slightly warmed, it should do that. Once you have finished firing or wish to move position, grab the collars on the gas lines, pull them back, and they will be removed from the gun. You may get a slight hiss if the gas lines are still connected to the gas bottles. It is important to stop dirt getting into these gas ports, as this can actually ruin the solenoid valves, which will stop the gun functioning. Once you have removed the gas lines, just push the trigger a couple of times, as this will clear gas from the gun. As you heard, sometimes some gas will stay in the gun, which will give one shot. As previously stated, when you're not going to be firing the gun, always disconnect the battery. If you're going to be disconnecting it for a while, put the insulating cap back onto the positive that was supplied with the gun.